In the 1960s, Boston was shaken by 13 brutal murders. Victims ranged from young women in their 20s to elderly women in their 80s. No one was spared. After each killing, the murderer left the same signature, a bow tied around the victim's neck. The investigation quickly stalled. One morning, Annie came across a news story about a murdered woman. She had a habit of collecting such articles, and after reviewing them, she realized that 3 women had been strangled in the past 2 weeks, one of them her mother's neighbor. This was no coincidence. After work, Annie visited the apartment where the first victim had been killed. The building manager had opened the door with a spare key. According to his account, the victim's feet were tied to a chair, a broomstick had been forced into her body, and a bow was tied around her neck with her own stockings. Annie, just hearing the description, left her speechless. Back at the newspaper, Annie reported her findings to the editor-in-chief. If the 3 murders had the same method, it meant they were likely the work of a serial killer. Editor James also sensed a major story and promised full support for her investigation. It didn't take long for Annie to confirm her suspicion. The other 2 victims were also found with the same bow tied around their necks. She wrote an article pointing out that all the victims were elderly women living alone. On the surface, they had no connection to one another, except they were targeted by the same twisted killer. The report immediately caused a public outcry. Soon, the police commissioner himself showed up at the paper. While the newspaper gained fame and attention, the police were under enormous pressure. They warned Annie that reckless reporting could get her and the paper into serious trouble. A few mornings later, the killer struck again. Disguised as a plumber, he tricked another elderly woman into opening her door before murdering her. Annie rushed to the newsroom when she heard the news, arriving at the same time as her colleague Jenny. This was an ongoing string of murders. If her paper didn't report it, another one surely would. The latest killing pushed the police to form a special task force to sweep Boston's neighborhoods. Many believed the killer would stop, but he struck again, using the same trick to gain entry and slaughter another woman living alone. In just 3 months, 5 women had been murdered. The entire city's women lived in fear. No one knew who the next victim would be.